We are back at our talk about organic food. I'm thankful that you are here today and share your knowledge with us. We also have another vendor. We can see in the background Constancia Flower Farm. She has provided some seeds for us today. And we know flowers are very important for insects. But there are also some insects, we don't like them on the farm. So what do we do in organic farming to keep the good insects and the other ones to go, but without using chemicals?
Okay. In the permaculture principles, there are many systems we use without forcing nature. For example, there are plants, the certain insect like, there are some that are repellent to them. So what we do, permaculture normally, what we want to solve is like people saying maybe I grow one particular type of crop like maize on my land, and because of the weather pattern, I totally lose it. So permaculture is an intercropping of many different plants against nature and with nature. So when it comes like that, maybe there will be anti-snake or anti-this and that plants that this insect might not like. So consciously, that's what we talk about, internal building of the human self. So when you are going to approach permaculture, you don't approach it as a normal person, but you have to approach it from internally yourself, that you are doing something to yourself for nature and for humanity. So all these things you do, you approach with this principle. So you are not going to apply anything that will not be like known to you or what you're doing. So in permaculture, it's difficult even for you to make certain mistakes, because so when we finish with the interplant cropping, that do pesticide separating, then we go to now organic pesticide insecticide, which as I am here, I can use neem tree, many different things in my community to get people rid of their insects without any harm causing to them. But when it comes to term of GMO, even the Beet Farmers and Keepers Association took the GMO as a support to cut to with food sovereignty, because the GMO, what they're doing is this: they have a protective chemical, which they are the only people who will sell it to you. So even if any insect go to your farm, it dies but it never return. So for example, if I'm producing honey, that means if my bees even go to eat food like flowers, and it's closer to a GMO farm, they will not return. So a time will come, we're going to lose number of bees. You understand me? And I think there is a bee they call, what is the name again? The one that they imported into Africa some time ago. Yeah, they imported bees to Africa before producing honey. Because so this is where the world multi-millionaire companies, because when farming come to business, when they bring agro-business, that's where the wickedness and the intention of every person comes as a benefit. So maybe somebody will want to sell the food more higher, so they will go and add chemicals that can hold it for a number of months, and these chemicals are very poison. People use as much as DDT. You get me? So when we're trying to do, like when we say businesses, it brings people's mind from like caring for human, caring for earth, but they go straight and killing every insect. So most commercial farmers don't even give a step at, if I do this, what will it cost the insects? Sometimes what we don't understand as human is this: the insects are only tiny than us, that's why they die earlier. But if we will continue consuming with our big intestines or anything, a time will come, 5-10 years will be like the same kind of consumption like what they have done. So the only reason why the insects are dying is because they are smaller than us. So we are causing the same harm to ourselves. So instead of commercial farmer not thinking about any consideration, you just go and spray the farm everything. At least permaculture will pause and see what can I do consciously. And when we say permaculture, that doesn't mean we didn't apply some ideas or things that people see as conventional. But there is conscious, when we talk of consciousness, like something like burning of bush. There is a particular site we create as a permaculture whereby you just don't go on the earth, like you can dig a hole where you, after weeding, you make sure, if you don't want to go into composting depending your area, because maybe when it comes to dry season, some fire, if you don't let even bush fire or like fire belts or certain things in your place, your whole farm can be got burnt. So we use principles that people abuse, but we will consciously. So the whole central pivot of permaculture is consciousness, approaching nature with mimicking nature. God say go and take care of the earth. And we are the only person who fail in nature. That's why everything else is failing. Because in human creation, we are the highest talented being that is replacing God. So if we don't fail, everything else is in the place. But we are the protectors and carers of the farm who is failing. So as long as we can bring more consciousness into it, then we are good to go. So in permaculture, let me cut it short, we have plenty things of how to protect our farms against pests and insects, which we'll be using. And we use the same plants too in the field. Thank you.
So I think science also helps to spread consciousness. Are there scientific evidence for that, that this kind of chemicals like glyphosate is toxic or makes us sick? Are there any proofs for that?
Yes. Okay. Mama, will you attack?
So when we talk about conventional, why are we all against it? Because of glyphosate. And I think 2 years ago, there was a major court case which was won by a gardener of a school in the US, where Monsanto and had to recompense him because his body was full of cancer. And it was due to the fact that every week he was applying it on the school lawn to keep it down. And he was paid. And that was a major breakthrough for the world. So glyphosate, that one has been certified. It's a danger. Now, you also asked about how do we keep off pests from our farms. As he said, we don't practice monoculture. When you have monoculture, corn only, the pests have only one food. They all come there to feed. You have your cabbage, you have your cucumber, you have your tomatoes, everything in the same space. The pests are confused. They don't know which one to go for. And I just learned last week that some of the weeds we weed out of our farms are deterrents to pests. But because you weed them out, they jump on your food because it's sweet. So let's allow the farm to be the farm. Let the weeds be there. Why? Because we talk about soils, keeping the health of the soil. When you strip the topsoil of its protection, which is the wheat, the grass, what you're actually doing is like scraping your skin and exposing your second layer. And we've been doing that. When the rain comes, what does it do? It washes the nutrients away. I'll go and buy chemical fertilizer, push it into the plant, let it grow fat, then we eat. But when we cover it, we are protecting the nutrients in the soil for the plant to go for it. And so the pest will also find alternative food to eat. I have here marigold. If you want to keep pests off your farm, plant marigold. It will attract the bees to come to pollinate your plants, and it will ward off the bad ones. It's just like your mouth. Your mouth has a balance of good bacteria, bad bacteria. I think my mouth is smelling, so I go for mouthwash. It kills both good and bad. And the bad ones are able to multiply very fast, and so they take over. And so when you kill the pest, you are allowing both the good and the bad to be killed, and then the bad ones say, hooray, we don't have any control, let's go. They just overtake your farm. So my advice to farmers, please, let's go back to watch how God does it. Let's see in our environment how the corn is growing by the roadside and no worm is eating it. Let's ask, why is that no worm is eating this one, but they are on my farm? Study it, you get an answer, apply it. So being organic doesn't mean that we are not applying science. Organic is applying tradition, innovation, and science, and coming up with food systems which are healthy for humans.
That is great. So you said our food is sweet, right? So how do we identify, if we go to the market, can we taste if something is organic or not, or can we see it?
To be able to identify an organic food, just buy the person who is saying, this is organic, buy it, go and leave it on your shelf. Check how long it gets rotten. It will confirm whether it's organic or not. Exactly. Shelf life is an indication of whether something is organic or not. If it is conventional, 2 days it will be running, as if it's got running nose. Organic, it will shrink and become like an old lady. And you know this is organic. Thank you.
Yeah. I think also to add up to you being able to identify if this is an organic or a conventional. Okay, so with the conventional, chemicals are being applied, and no insects would want to eat a product that a chemical has been applied. So, for instance, when I always go to the market to buy veggies, I usually fish out for those ones that look bad. You'd see some insect perforations. They look a little bit old. As she said, shrink. These are the ones that you can consume. The reason being, insects are more or less like humans. Let me put it that way. Okay, anything bad into their system, they die. So the ability for the insects to feed on that particular vegetable makes it healthy because it has attracted so many biological components to it. But you go see a veggie very fresh, nice looking, green. When you travel on the stretch of Akumadan and then you want to buy tomatoes, there is this statement the women will always make. Yemfa fie die na say papano. Okay, that is tree. Okay, so they have one that it's properly ripe. It took it time to go through the process. That's the senescence process. And they have ones that they harvest, then they spray them. Within a short period, you would see them looking very nice. Red. I don't know if that's the actual color for tomatoes. So yeah, red. Very strong. Nice looking. Well priced. And they will present you that this is the one that is proper. But if you're able to understand that language they use, that no, I want the one from home, they would not go and bring the one that has been carefully and that is what they feed on. But they will come and sell the one that has been polluted with chemicals to you. So I think one of the shortest and the easiest way to identify if even it coming to the farm, you see, sometimes, like she said, we are confusing with the term organic. Irrespective of all the physical appearance of the veggie, there might be one or two practices that are not organic. But just because you did a phenotypic identification, so you just consume. But that's just one basic thing you could use in identifying that this is just going for the ones that look bad, insect perforations and others. Get home, well, wash it, and then use it. Sometimes too, there was this video that circulated with one old woman washing vegetables with soap. She was washing it with soap. People were criticizing the video. Why is the old woman washing the vegetable with soap and others? I was like, okay. In another school of thought, she was trying to tell us that maybe the vegetable coming is contaminated with chemicals. And she knows that when you apply soap to anything, it takes away chemicals. So all we need to do is to educate her that probably you can wash the vegetable with vinegar or other salt solution, okay, instead of using the soap. So sometimes upon it, even on the way coming, there are so many things that someone might even have an organic farm and another one a conventional farm. The moment the person sprays the farm with chemicals and there's no buffer zone created, indirectly the ones that are even organic also become contaminated. Like in the case of the GMO. If I have a GMO farm and there's an organic farm, then there's a cross-pollination. Virtually my farm gets contaminated. Thank you.
So if anyone wants to eat more organic food, what can the person do?
What you have to do is, city farm is there. You regardless of where you are. If you are in the city, you can't give excuse of even the land. They can do like that's what we call urban gardening. There are many things that you can use now, even waste. So when we talk permaculture, we are trying to link things that we call something in the permaculture principles edges. The edges is like watching what people don't regard. So that's why when you go to Permaculture Institute, we have car tie building, we have bamboo, we have plastic bottles building, because many people will not even think of using plastic bottle as a form of building, like car tie as a form of building. So what we do is we look at the edges, things people don't regard. So first of all, your food have to be your medicine. When God created man, God didn't create man for food to only satisfaction, but for medicine and your comfort, everything. So if your food is not your medicine and what you are eating, you go and buy chemicals from the farm. So the first of all is try to grow what you eat. First of all, as much as you can try on your small base. People might give excuse for many reasons, but city farm is there even if you are busy in your farm, in your workplaces. Because after you work, the money you're going to get a pay as monthly, you go to Agbogbloshie market and exposed to everything. So if you have a budget already and you can pay city farm to help you, then you can guarantee your organic health. You see, when we were doing some research in Chobodom, Akumada and all that to Techiman, they say it's the price rising that determines the poison of the food. Because when they come to town and the market is doubled by, let's say, 200 Ghana for a basket which they be taking for 50 Ghana, they will go in the morning, they have some chemical and some, they will spray it. By afternoon, it become yellow, evening it's become red, and the following day they harvest it in quantity. So they can harvest a green tomato which is already looking red for the people. So what it is that, and if you talk to the farmers that you want organic, they can get it for you, because they say most of them don't use chemical product. Because the problem is everybody think I'm killing my brother, not myself. So even the tomato farmers, they will have a small space for themselves where they grow their food. So if they are consciously thinking that I'll be approached or attacked by the chemical, so therefore let me use the ones I grow for organic, then you realize that they can also help other people. So it's a matter of at least we doing more and trying to, like, as we are a team here, at least I'm happy and I'm glad of, like, the various background we came from. She's from somewhere that even I don't realize, because GPI last month, yeah, I mean, I'm talking of our institution, GPI, we got this thing, upgrading from the Ghana Vocational Board now. So we are now adding vocational organic farming. So we also have certification, the NAFTI and all those things. So now they have created us that standard as the first organic institution in the country to be able to train people and be able to send them back to their community. So mostly that's what we do. And the last time we met a daughter of one old Ghanaian president they call Danlate, the domestication. I met the daughter in Techiman, and she was saying that now they want to practice policy instead of politics, because she was so overwhelmed about the works we do in GPI. And she said that let's contact the traditional rulers if they can have a community farm, so that at least everybody is trying in a ways and means that they can be able to do more of the organic. So it's affecting us all. And then anytime there is a funeral, I hear somebody who says the chemical that is killing us, so this chemical that they are too much for us. So now I think people are realizing this, so it's a matter of taking another step more than they realizing, not being the hearer, but the doers of it. That's all I think we have to go on now. Thank you.
That's wonderful. And I like to talk about that for hours. And I think you all agree with me that we can talk about that for hours. But unfortunately, the sun is going down, it's getting dark. So I think we have to stop this for now. And hopefully we can continue the talk another day. So I guess everyone can say a last word.
Okay.
Yes, well, thank you to my fellow panelists. It's been very interesting, and I've learned a lot. I've even gotten some new ideas I'm going to go home and try. And just to add to that, I mean, that's one of the reasons why we started Ground Up Ghana, is we want to create the demand for those crops because of our products. So right now, the farmers, they prefer to grow the maize, but the maize requires a lot of inputs. And they're willing to grow these crops, but nobody wants to buy these crops. So now we want to make it so that people want to buy these crops. Well, we want to buy the crops because people want to buy our products, and then we're showing that, and then transitioning some of those inorganic farms to being organic now.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy and thankful for the panelists and the organizers, because it's not easy to fetch people like us together to be able to talking about these things. And it's a very important problem for the whole world. It's not Ghana alone or Africa alone. Now everything that touches any nation touches the other. So the world is confronted with many challenges. So we don't want our food system, because if you are not healthy, you cannot even listen to the news tomorrow. So what we're trying to do, and I'm giving thanks for like a PGS. So I'll be getting closer more to PGS and then involve most of my farmers so that they can know that there is a way. And she's also telling me to involve more women so that we can empower them more so that they can break through the barriers. So thanks so much. And it's been wonderful, Madam Vanderpuye. I like your presence.
You're welcome. What I'll say is, for those who want to have organic products, on the 1st and the 3rd Saturdays of every month at the parks and gardens, you'll find the PGS stand where the farmers bring their things and you can patronize. Also, we sometimes have a joint near Jack and Jill International School where we have people doing pre-orders and they come and pick up. So you can have access to organic products if you are interested in changing your diet. Thank you. My contacts 027 403 1239.
Thank you very much. It's been a great day. So much knowledge shared. On behalf of City Farming, we would also want to thank you all for inviting us to a platform like this. We are in to provide quality services. Call on us. Don't be afraid. We don't charge much, just as little. Then you have a home farm. We take so many things into considerations before we establish a home farm. We are looking at your well-being. So we sometimes advise our clients to select seeds based on their well-being. We also go as far as to your spiritual well-being. We have some herbs that are also more spiritual that we also encourage our clients to also leverage on. And we do this at your comfort. And that is what City Farming believe in. You farm in your comfort. Call on us on 054 59 53 722. Follow us on our social media. We are doing amazing projects that we will be uploading them very soon, and you would get to see the amazing works we are doing in the life of Ghanaian households. We are promoting food security for a sustainable and efficient environment in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you to you all to share your knowledge and your time with us. And we will also publish all your information on our page, GhanaFam.com. So even if you didn't understand the phone numbers, you can still have a look at our page and then you get all the contacts. So I wish you all a nice evening, and I hope we will all enjoy the time together. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I think we have to move back to the lower communities, to the peasant farmers as well, so that they can also be part of such a discussion. Yeah.